We're running out of time in April, Jensen. So these series beginning this weekend for a lot of them, again, we always say this, the same in April is going to count the same in September. But at this stage, you want to start finding some form, right?
Oh, for sure. And again, still live for those that tailed our tickets on the Cubs 20-1 to have the most wins combined in March and April. Now, they're going to be up against it. It's out of Chavez Ravine. The Cubs going to take that 9-game winning streak up against the LA Dodgers. So we'll get head-to-head on that. One series that I had my eye on, the Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. Already a play for me tonight, Dave. Over 8.5 in this one, and I do believe we'll get some offense from both sides. Now, Camden Yards tonight, the actual weather impact is kind of interesting. 71 degrees at first pitch, 3-mile-an-hour wind, so really not a lot of wind. It is slightly out to left. Traditionally, this would be an under spot for me, but I do feel that when we look at this particular matchup, and again, two teams that are trying to kind of get going in the right direction. Brian Bayo there for the Red Sox. Brandon Young going to be the starter for the Orioles. I think we got a chance for offense early in that one. So anxious to see how it plays out. Really good series with the Tigers and the Reds. The Reds, again, an outstanding start with Terry Francona and company. They right now tied with the Cubs atop the NL Central there at 16-9. Good matchup. Framber Valdez, Andrew Abbott, two dueling left-handers tonight. Anxious to see kind of where that goes. And as far as totals go on that actually might be a sneaky over as well. Not going to play that just yet, but might be a sneaky over. Other big series out there. Hey, we all had it on our bingo card of the Twins and the Rays being near the tops of their divisions, right? Tampa 13-11, Minnesota 12-13, but just a game and a half back of Detroit and Cleveland there in the American League Central. So that'll be an intriguing series. And one other one that kind of jumped out, and I'm anxious to see where you kind of come down on where this series will be. Okay, the Phillies, obviously with their losing streak, are what they are. Not to say it's a trap spot here, but the Braves come back home. They've been the best team record-wise in all of baseball to start. I would look at offense tonight. I think that's a spot where we can get home potentially on an over 9. But do you think the Phillies ended tonight, or do we continue to back this Braves train because they have been phenomenal so far?
I got to tell you, the Phillies had about 9 different ways they could have won that game yesterday against the Cubs, and they couldn't get it done. And again, it starts to feel like the Mets feel, right? Where you've got a 3-0 lead for the Mets, and you blow that. Now you still figure out a way to win it. To end the losing streak. And then last night, the Mets have a big lead, a 5-run lead, blow that lead, and then win it again. I find, Jensen, it feels like teams sometimes to just break a streak, like the Phillies are in, they got to win the game twice, right? It's just not that easy to go out there and get a mundane 5-1 win where you get good pitching, timely hitting, and you're not sweating it out. It feels like every time I watched the Phillies last night against the Cubs or yesterday afternoon, they've got bases loaded, top 9, 7-7, 1 out, and you can't get that go-ahead run across the plate. It feels like it just keeps manifesting itself to where you're putting more pressure on yourself. To that end, I look at the Mets against the Rockies. Remember, it's a 9-game homestand, so the Mets off on a good foot. 2 out of 3 against the Twins. That's very good. Beat up Joe Ryan yesterday. That's great. Now you get the Rockies, and then you have 3 with the Nationals. I'm not saying, Jensen, that you look ahead and go, man, I got to win 7 of 9 in this homestand. But they do feel like, again, if you're a Met backer, you better take at least 2 out of 3 in these next 2 series to get back in the good foot. And for the Phillies, Jensen, I don't know that I want to be, all right, today's the day they're going to break the train. Yep. We talked about it with Thomas Gable, right? People are going to the Borgata, and they're betting that these streaks will end, and they keep losing money on it. So I don't know that I'd want to bet the Phillies today against the Braves. Maybe the Mets are starting to reacclimate themselves to winning, if we can put it that way, in the last 2 games against Minnesota, and then maybe they'll get easier. I do think the Mets might take off here in the next 2 series. Phillies, I still think I'm staying away.
I don't blame you. That's where I would be tonight. Young Andrew Painter going to try and end that 9-game losing streak on the road. One other series that doesn't start tonight, that does start tomorrow in Mexico City, that's going to be the Diamondbacks and the Padres. If you are looking for player props, especially offensively, tomorrow and Sunday are your days. I haven't seen a number out yet, Dave,
No,
but I
haven't
would
either.
imagine it's an elevated total. You're going to see maybe like a 14 or a 15 because of the elevation and how that ball is going to travel. So file that away for tomorrow and also on Sunday. OptAI having a couple of props, Dave, that have really popped here this morning. Moises Ballesteros in the hits, runs, and RBI market, over or two or more of hits, runs, RBI right now. That is going to be in Chavez Ravine, as I mentioned. Cubs Dodgers tonight. That has popped big time. Mike Yastrzemski to have a hit, run, or RBI. Actually, OptAI projecting him upwards of 1.7. So maybe you want to take a shot on plus money at two or more there. Some other good ones. Kyle Tucker in that Cubs and Dodgers opener tonight. OptAI projecting him for 2.6 hits, runs, RBI. So just him to have two or more is minus $1.17 on DraftKings. Maybe you want to do a little ladder on that position there tonight. Again, that pitching matchup going to be Jameson Taillon, the right-hander, against Emmett Sheehan, the right-hander for the Dodgers. So a couple of those props from OptAI. One other one I was thinking about it, and for people that didn't get to tune in earlier in the week, I'm kind of glad that I waited for the cross-sport parlays to play with the Knicks and the Yankees. Actually got a better number on that cross-sport parlay. So for people that did not hear how we did it, Knicks to win the finals, Yankees to win the World Series, now at 287 to 1 instead of 217 to 1. So we got a little better. Now, again, this all predicated on the Knicks trying to find their footing here. On the flip side, we got a better number on the Hawks and the Braves. Hawks to win the title, Braves to win the World Series, 1,514 to 1. Again, just fun, little pizza money things here. But boy, oh boy, wouldn't that be intriguing the way that the Braves have started this Major League Baseball season.
Because obviously the series doesn't start till tomorrow. We still don't have those totals posted for the games there down there in Mexico City. Have you ever pitched in an environment like that? Like, explain to the people. I failed physics in high school, by the way. It's the only class I ever failed. Like, why, when you see a run total up there, 14, 15 potentially tomorrow night, people are going to go, man, I got to play the under. As a pitcher, do you have to pitch differently? Or do you like, hey, man, this is just the way the air is, the way it's going to travel, and it's really going to be hard to keep the ball down?
Oh, yeah. I pitched at elevation. Reno, Nevada was one of my homes back in 2012. You're, 6,000 feet above sea level there. I pitched in Albuquerque, a place I never, ever want to pitch again, Colorado Springs. You can just tell that when a ball goes up in the air, and again, at elevation, the ball's going to travel farther because you have less resistance in the atmosphere. So that's why when we look at some of these totals, especially in these higher elevation places, that's why you see a lot of higher double-digit totals when we go to Coors Field. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We see 14, 15 hung for a run total there tomorrow and on Sunday in Mexico City.
Oh, I was just saying, if my physics teacher is Mr. Ballou back in high school, if he just phrased the questions like you did, like I can understand that. That made sense to me. If you put it in baseball context, I probably would have got an A in the class. But you put all those other numbers in there, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, when we come back, we have some very interesting comments from Matt Humans. Did the Titans get it right at 4, or should they have looked at Sonny Styles? We'll discuss next right here on VSiN by the Books.